So apparently I have exactly 10 open source tools that I find useful and I still host and use. And on a 10th place, we have a web check. I can't say I use it that much, but it allows you to get details on any website. And I installed it because it's kind of looking cool, like really cool. Like, look at this. And maybe one day it's gonna get handy. It is useful if you wanna know like what's like a details about website, like you wanna reverse engineer something, maybe even wanna like hack something a bit. It gives a lot of information which can be useful to those who understand this information, like DNS rules, API of the server. Sometimes it gives, what is it? Yeah, it gives SEO information, self-certificate information, that's not too important. It also does some checks, which I'm not sure. It didn't succeed in checking the sitemap, which is sad. But anyway, it also have a few interesting links, which are just useful to have. So it's on 10th place, not much useful, but I host it. It doesn't consume any resources. One day I'm gonna need it, and I'm gonna remember that I have it. On 9th place, we have uptime, which is quite useful because every software team needs to have some kind of an uptime notifier at the very least, so that when your servers are down, you know that. And it can also be public facing, like you could share with people this dashboard so that they know when your software is up. I needed it. I don't remember what exactly I needed it for multiple projects, I believe. Whoa, Whoopty Landing is suffering. Holy shit. Yeah, it's suffering seriously. Need to notify people. But it gives you a dashboard where you can set up. So it gives you dashboard where you can connect different URLs, and it would start pinging them and giving you this information about uptime. Well, you can also create status pages. For example, I have a separate status page for Whoopty that includes only resources for Whoopty, and I can also share it. It's quite nice URL, and people could see it and see if our website is up, which around 35% it isn't. But this is just a landing. It's not as important. So that was uptime on 9th place. On 7th place, I have xxxx, which is allowing my AI models to query the internet. Nowadays, OpenClaw and a lot of other models are just having direct searching, like browser searching functionality. So it isn't as crucial. But 1 year back, it wasn't that way. 1 year back, you had to, if you run your own AI, you had to configure xxxng or some kind of API key to give it internet access. And still, if you run a company that is providing AI generative services, like I do with Self-Degree, you need this model to have access to internet, convenient access to internet, not like open webs, like open browser and search. So xxxng does it. It's self-hosted, and it does cross-searching across different search engines. It have a nice API that allows you to like sort things, choose how many results you want to get, etc. It's also anonymous, so whatever you search, It's not going to be visible to anyone. And also it's self-hosted, so it's, well, it's obviously anonymous. So it is kind of useful. I use it for my project, but I wouldn't say it's going to give too much value to you. So I put it on a 7th place. Let's move forward. On 6th place, we have LangFuse. And I have a LangFuse installation with Mini IO, which is a S3 compatible storage. So all of the data is stored there. We will not dive into Mini IO because it's more like a database, but we will dive into LangFuse. The LangFuse, if you maybe you heard of LangSmith, which is an amazing monitoring tool for AI agents. So it's basically a tracing tool. Like if you build if you not just do like an API call, but you have an agent, especially if this agent is a React agent, like he decides when to stop and he have access to different tools, you need to have visibility of what is my agent doing when I'm asking him something. So that's what LangFuse solves. It allows you to do that. That's what LangSmith solves. But LangSmith is expensive. It costs starting price at something like $50 a month. LangFuse is open source and self-hostable and allows you to do exactly the same. So you have project, and there you can monitor your LLM usage. You can analyze what tools have been called, how much errors have been in those tools. You can also run experiments. Like, for example, you can collect LLM as a judge, and it would help you to analyze and give you a score of different metrics. Like, for example, I have a metric for simplicity, for toxicity, for repetitive quests, that's self-degree specific, for correctedness. So it helps you to make sure that your agent is reliable. And if you build an agentic tool, that just must have to have. Like you need to have some kind of tool like this. And I did a research. I found LangFuse being the most developed and well open source. So it's my recommendations for that. And let's move forward. On 5th place, we have DocuSeal. And DocuSeal is simply a document storage. I actually installed it a few months before Google allowed to have digital signature inside of Google Drive. Though I never used it, and I think it may be like an enterprise feature for paid clients. The DocuSeal is self-hosted, and it allows you to do exactly what DocuSign, PandaDocs, or any other paid software does. You can upload document. You can mark which fields can be edited. Like, for example, I have a contract, an employment contract, and I need, I want to be able myself to enter a date and enter like a signature. And I want my partner, my employee with whom I'm signing a document to do the same. So I can upload a PDF, mark where I want those elements to be, and I can sign it myself, and then I can send a link to my employee or partner. They will sign it. And now this document is going to be available to everyone on that public self-hosted URL. Super useful. It saves, I would say, it just saves money. Like it's same as a DocuSign you would pay $20 for. So I definitely recommend it if you sign a lot of documents. So DocuSeal was on 6th place actually, and now we're going to 5th place. The 5th place is Foundry VTT. This year I got into D&D, and I wanted to be a DM. So to be a DM, you need to track a lot of things. Like you need to track who are your characters are in a campaign, what in inventory they have, what is their health, what are their spells. So that's important. Impossible to track in memory. And Foundry VTT simplifies it. It's first of all, it gives you a nice UI where you can call online and interactively play D&D. If you ever played Divinity Original Sin or Baldur's Gate, you may find this UI a bit familiar. And I would say that Baldur's Gate, it's more like a polished version of this. Like it's made more casual and configured specifically for you for this campaign of Baldur's Gate. But this is like an engine that allows you to create your own Divinity Original Sin and Baldur's Gate. You can create monsters here, you can give them spells, you can visualize those spells, and most importantly, you can you can extend it with plugins. And those plugins are written in JavaScript or TypeScript. I even have an open source project where I set up a React plus Tailwind CSS for writing plugins for Foundry VTT. I didn't manage to release any useful plugins, unfortunately, but I managed to run a campaign. I've run a few campaigns, and it is just so cool. It's on fifth place because it's a niche. It's very niche. But if you play D&D, this is just the best thing you could use, especially if you are an engineer, because you can extend it to unbelievable um, things. So yeah, let's move to the next item. And here, interesting things are coming. Open Web UI is on fourth place. Open Web UI is allowing you to have your own independent AI. I want to call it a stack. It's not just a UI for chatting with AI, it's a stack. Oh, it actually says it. Funny. So let me show you my hosted version. It's basically a ChatGPT UI with a lot more features and with ability to chat with any model. So what I did is I registered on OpenRouter. If you use AI and you haven't registered here yet, do it. OpenRouter is allowing you to use any model, whether it be self-hosted, Chinese, American, whatever. So it basically unites all of the providers into one API, and you can just change one digit, and now you're using another model. So I can use any model in this world from this UI of Open Web UI, and just look at this scroll. All right, that's a huge scroll. Some of the models are irrelevant, but you have them. What you can do next is you can chat with multiple models at the same time. Give me top 10 self-hosted open source projects. It's gonna split your screen into three, make a request to each of the model, and now you can, well, compare how different models respond. It is not amazing, like it looks amazing. I was bought into this feature, but it does not allow you to now choose which chat to continue. So you need to chat with all of the models at the same time till the end of conversation, which is not too comfortable, but yet it's a great tool for its purpose. You can go further and configure your own models that are made on top of other models. Like you have in OpenAI, you can basically also create your own, I don't know, agents. In Gemini, you can create gems. You can do exactly the same here. You can upload your knowledge, which are vectorized PDF documents or any kind of documents. You can have your own prompt library, which is also quite enticing because I like collecting prompts, yet I need to do it in Notion. It's not too comfortable. Here you can do it right here, and you can also use slash commands. So here are all my prompts. I can click enter, and now it's going to be included into here. I can also connect tools, which, for example, I connected it to my personal Postgres database where I store my favorite movies, cartoons, etc. We're going to talk about it. So you can connect anything like MCPs to whatever you need to connect. From the admin side, you can connect a bit of more things. There is a crazy amount of feature which I haven't even started discovering yet. You can build agentic workflows here. You can configure web search. You can configure audio, like you can speak to your agent. You can configure code execution. Like that's just extremely powerful tool. So I advise you to just check it out for yourself, especially if you work a lot with AI from the UI. This is irreplaceable. So check it out. Now we have finalists. We are coming to Meta MCP, which is a tool that allows you to route your MCP servers to agents that needs to have access to them. What pisses me off is that every time you install an agent, locally, in cloud, wherever, every time you change an agent, like a provider or whatever, you need to reconfigure your MCPs. Meta MCP allows you to have a single server that is hosting your MCPs. Let me check what I have. I have 3 MCPs. Not too much for now, but I installed it just a few months, and it's gonna have a huge potential with OpenClaw. Because an OpenClaw can use MCP, and you can run multiple instances of OpenClaw. And if you have your MCPs inside of a container with an OpenClaw, you need to deploy them each time with every agent and also configure it for every agent. With that Meta MCP, I can configure it once, I can deploy it once on my server, I can configure access to it once here, and now I can have Meta MCP namespaces, like access to everything namespace, access to databases namespace, OpenClaw secured namespace, where I select which MCPs I want to include into this namespace, and then I have a single MCP URL that is uniting all of those like 10, 20, whatever amount of MCPs on the one MCP server, and it just works. I can connect it to OpenWeb UI. As you can see here, it's in tool servers. And now my OpenWeb UI have access to all of my MCPs, to my databases. I can connect it to OpenClaw. Now OpenClaw have access to that, and so on. Just convenient if you want to be on edge in AI world. Meta MCP, not must have, but if you are growing into this stage where you want to orchestrate in AI agents, Meta MCP is a powerful tool for orchestration. You're gonna like it. Now, moving to a second place. On second place, we have a tool that I use. I personally open it every week, and it is getting used every day. Like API requests are going to it every day. It's called Stroppy. Let me show you a landing first. So it's a headless CMS, open source, written in Node.js, so like easy to extend. I haven't yet because I didn't need to. It allows you to create like a WordPress with your own tech stack. For example, I have my personal website written in Next.js, right? And I like writing code. I write it with AI now. I mean, I write code with AI, but I like having control over things. And that was I didn't like in a WordPress. But what I liked in a WordPress is the UI it gives you for writing articles. And I wanted to write articles myself. I have a blog, and I have articles in here. So they are getting fetched from the API of their Stroppy. And Stroppy basically gives you this WordPress article editor without the tech stack of the WordPress, which is PHP. If you open it, it's having a few tabs like content type builder. So it allows you to create any content type, and it doesn't have to be post. For example, I have a content type called portfolio category and portfolio. Like I track what projects I have in a portfolio, and I can put anything in here. It's basically just a pretty UI over the database with a nice editor as well. If I go to, let's say, blog post, I can open any of that and I can edit it. Here I can open preview mode. I can also like add new fields, can upload images, and then all of that is going to my website. A simple tool that is I use every single day. So it's definitely deserved second place. I never had problems with it. It runs smoothly. It's well supported. So if you want to have your own blog and you want to have a pretty UI for editing it, Stroppy is your choice. So yeah, and let's move to the first place. So which tool I think is the most useful across all tools that I ever tried to host on my open source server? So the most useful tool I have on my server is actually a Postgres database with an NocoDB. So I have a database. If you go to production, I have one database. It's called PG Nanochi, which is just a Postgres database. Having your own Postgres database that you know gonna run forever in a cloud, well, as far as I pay money for a server, which is not much, $44 a month. So it's basically gonna run forever with no potential issues, like the server have backups, like I cannot lose this information, like it's basically my infinite storage of things. It's like Google Drive, like I can save things there. What I use it for is for all of the different projects I have. Like if I have some small pet projects, I don't create a separate like database instance for them. I just create a virtual database inside of my single PG Nanochi database. What it also does, but that's just advantages of Postgres. Like I'm just telling you, having your own Postgres is the most useful thing you could have on a server, because you can collect structured resources there. Like that is super powerful in an age of AI. Imagine you chat with ChatGPT. ChatGPT have some kind of memories about you, and then you want to switch a model to Claude, and Claude knows nothing about you because ChatGPT was saving memory about you in their own database. But now imagine if you have your own database that is having all of the needed information about you. For example, let me just show you what I have in there. It will be simpler here. Example, I have my tops there. Like I store what are the favorite games I ever played, like reviews on games. I store my top watches and top read books. That was just a UI self-written. It wasn't a NocoDB. Here is a NocoDB. It allows anonymous access, so I can share this link with anyone. They don't need to sign up, and they have access to this quite impressive UI, like in my opinion. Like it looks nice for viewing tops, and then also for editing it. Like it's quite convenient for me to just add a row, modify something, all from this nice UI. To me, it feels very similar to Notion databases, but on a Postgres stock. And because it's on a Postgres stock, it makes things easier. Like it makes it easier to build on top of it, to connect it to something, etc. NocoDB allows you to do other things which I haven't even used. Like for example, you can create forms that will be auto-populated into the NocoDB, which is actually very useful. I may use it very soon. It allows you to have, I don't know, will they show a demo here? Yeah, so they allow you to have cards as well. Oh yeah, you have forms. You have Kanban, which is like I'm thinking of ditching Jira and just fully going into NocoDB because it's a nice UI and I can just store all the data I need in a Postgres. So I can even write my own UI on top of that if I want to extend it. There is a calendar view, for example, for post scheduling. So it's an extremely useful tool I use on daily basis. I use Postgres on daily basis. I do not open NocoDB on daily basis, but still useful. So that was my top of most useful tools. And I'm gonna stop here because we are getting out of time. In the next video, we're gonna talk about the least useful tools I ever installed. Some of them failed installation. Some of them have just never been used. So subscribe to not miss a video, put like if you find this information useful, and I'll see you in the next one.